Welcome back to TradeFlow TV. You know the drill, markets move fast, and if you're not ahead, you're under. It is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. Yesterday, we watched corporations invent their own barter economy to survive the G7 metals freeze. Today, we are watching the empire strike back. The transition to a global command economy has moved from regulatory mandates to physical enforcement, while the global banking sector teeters on the edge of a systemic freeze. Let's get you caught up for an incredibly dangerous Wednesday open. First up, the 60-second commodities flash. Brent breaks $140 as banking halts loom. The shipping debt contagion is accelerating. Brent crude has violently cleared the $141.50 a barrel mark. Following yesterday's halt of two European investment banks, Asian equity markets opened to massive sell-offs. Central banks are reportedly holding emergency calls this morning. Meanwhile, the G7 initiates corporate metal audits. The tech barter economy is being aggressively shut down. Overnight, specialized task forces across North America and Europe began executing unannounced physical audits and seizures of private corporate vaults owned by tech consortiums. Any physical silver or copper deemed excessive to immediate needs is being forcibly bought by the state at the capped paper price. Cold chain disruptions hit agricultural hubs. The militarization of the domestic food supply has failed. While National Guard units moved bulk grains, they lack the specialized refrigerated transport required for perishables. With independent truckers still on strike, massive localized spoilage of fresh produce is occurring at wholesale hubs, wiping out millions of dollars of inventory overnight. Finally, BRICS Plus announces a commodity ledger. Seizing the chaos, the bloc announced a beta launch for a decentralized, resource-backed settlement ledger. They are actively inviting global South copper and silver miners to bypass the US dollar entirely and settle industrial trades via this new sovereign network. Let us take a deep dive into why the G7 is physically auditing tech vaults for silver, and how the $141 energy floor is forcing central banks to print money into a hyperinflationary fire. The data hitting global terminals this morning confirms that the financial rules of the last 40 years have been completely suspended. When atoms become the ultimate currency, the state claims a monopoly. Look at the corporate vault audits. Yesterday, Silicon Valley bypassed the US dollar to barter AI software for silver. The G7 saw this as a direct threat to sovereign currency. By forcibly liquidating hoarded silver at the $40 paper cap, governments are sending a brutal message. You do not own your physical assets if the state needs them. This is devastating for semiconductor and AI hardware equities. Their production pipelines are now completely at the mercy of government allocation boards. However, for primary silver miners operating outside of G7 jurisdictions, this just made their unmined ore the most coveted, un-seizable asset on the planet. This brings us to the bank logistics doom loop. When Brent crude hits $141.50, the math for global shipping debt completely breaks down. The rumor of a coordinated central bank logistics liquidity facility is the ultimate stagflationary nightmare. Central banks realize if shipping stops, the world stops. But to bail out these fleets, they have to print trillions. Printing money to subsidize $141 oil doesn't create growth. It just pours gasoline on the inflation fire. At the same time, look closer at the cold chain reality check. The agricultural crisis just mutated from a pricing issue into a catastrophic physical waste issue. Command economies look great on paper, but they fail in complex systems. You can't order an unrefrigerated vehicle to transport poultry in July heat. Because truckers refuse to operate at a loss, the cold chain has broken. We are aggressively shorting major grocery conglomerates today. They face billions in spoiled inventory. Here is the TradeFlow take. The physical audits on tech vaults prove that holding hard assets within G7 borders is now a massive political risk. The playbook is rapidly changing. Liquidate any exposure to tech hardware reliant on domestic metal stockpiles. Pivot aggressively into commodity producers operating in BRICS plus or neutral jurisdictions. Short the banking sector as the shipping debt contagion spreads and avoid the retail grocery sector. Stay liquid, stay sharp. See you tomorrow.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.